So parliamentary outreach, I am the Officer for the South West, as I said. I work for the Houses of Parliament, so I don't work for an MP, I don't work for a political party, I don't work for the government, I work for Parliament itself. And that means that I'm politically neutral, I have no opinions at all. If I ever bump into you in a pub, I might tell you something different, but for the purposes of today, I have no opinions at all. All the information that you're going to get today and all the discussions we have today are totally politically neutral. I'm very interested in hearing your views and your opinions, and please do express them because it's much more interesting. But all the information you're getting is politically neutral. My job is to come out across the whole of the South West and talk to people about how Parliament works. What is it? What does it do? How does it do it? And how do you fit in? How is it relevant to you? And how can you get your voice heard there? So I do workshops and talks and training events across the whole region about that. And we do that for anyone at all. Little community groups, universities, local councils, businesses, networks of people, mates in the back room of a pub, whatever. Second mention of a pub in 5 minutes, I must want to drink.
Well, it all came out of a committee on modernising the House of Commons, which was set up at Parliament, called the Right Committee. They produced a report which recommended an outreach team was set up to work with the public to make sure that people understand what Parliament does and understand how they can get engaged with what goes on there. So it grew from that. We've been going for about 3 years now, starting as a pilot. We're now a permanent part of Parliament, and we've had really brilliant successes across the whole of the UK, talking to thousands of people every day about Parliament and what it does, and encouraging people to have a say.
I have here a very non-serious and non-competitive quiz, which a couple of you may have done before, for which I apologise, but I don't think the majority of you have. Do it with the person next to you, or as a three, or by yourself if you prefer. Rosa, you have to get all the answers right, because Rosa's just been on a very intense training course about the Parliament. When you've had a go at them, and please do them together, because if you all sit there in silence doing them, I feel like an exam invigilator. When you've had a go at the answers, have a guess if you don't know them, we'll go through. And I encourage as much questions as possible. Right, has everyone had a word? Everyone finished? Everyone got to the end? How did you find that? Taxing? Made you think? That's always good. Okay. As I said, I'm hoping for some wrong answers.
A lot of people come along to workshops and say they don't like politics, they're not interested in Parliament, they don't really feel that they can have a say in what goes on there. And at the end of workshops, people have said to me how much more empowered they feel, because they just understand what environment their MP is working in, what their MP might do, how to approach their MP or how to work with the House of Lords, and they feel empowered to get involved with the work of Parliament. Even if it's just understanding what's being said on the news or what you read in the paper, that can be really, really important for people. And so we usually get a very, very positive outcome. Everyone understands that it's non-political, it's factual information, and it's really important for everyone to understand how decisions are made.
We just really want to make sure that we're using all the possible opportunities to get to government with our comments and our complaints and everything else, suggestions. We have sent them suggestions in the past. And just make sure that we've got as much knowledge about the systems as we can have, really. So us oldies are often put down as dodos, which of course 90% of us aren't. At least we don't think we are. We've been mainly concentrating over the past years, more or less since we've been formed. Our biggest thing, first of all, was the rate at which council tax was going up. I mean, in our area, it sort of doubled within about 8 years, which is no joke. You know, you're paying £690 1 year, and 5 or 6 years later you're paying £1,200, and I think now we're paying nearly £1,500. And that was the start, really, because lots of older people just haven't got the kind of money that you need coming in to pay those sort of things. And now, in particular, since the recession, or whatever you want to call it, other things are going up at the rate of knots, not just the council tax. And the things, you know, bills being put through Parliament are quite frightening from the point of view of what they're going to do to services.
So after this morning session, do you think your MP is going to get a really professional approach from you and your group now?
If our MP, well, I think our MP actually has got quite a bit of respect for us. At least he always says so. That might be placatory, I suppose. I don't know. But yes, I think we have got quite a bit to say. We've already said it prior to the council elections. We had prospective councillors to talk to and, you know, pass our complaints to and ask them questions. And we usually do that, but our MP is John Penrose, and of course he's the tourism minister now. And these days we can't seem to get him to come and talk to us so often. I don't think it's fright.
Most MPs are really supportive of what we're doing, actually. There's a few across the southwest who are particularly interested and supportive of what we're doing. Sometimes they come along to workshops, which is great. Other times I just let them know when I'm going to be in their area and they send me messages of support. So mostly it's really good feedback. MPs understand that if their constituents are better informed about Parliament, then it's easier for them to work with them too. So it's generally seen as a very positive thing. The workshop today was really interesting. One of the different things about today was that we were talking about the Speaker's Advisory Council on Public Engagement report, which is a panel of people invited by the Speaker of the Commons to advise him on how Parliament can engage with the public better. And we were discussing some of the ideas they came up with, such as national campaigns to raise awareness about what MPs do, looking at the ceremony and language in the chamber and how that affects public perception of Parliament, and even looking at how how the public can be directly involved in Parliament, such as electronic petitions. So we were discussing those ideas, and I'm going to feed those thoughts that everyone today had back to the Speaker's Advisory Council. So it was really interesting today to hear everyone's thoughts about Parliament's engagement with the public. But also people got quite a lot of tips and advice about how to engage with Parliament, how to raise an issue through their MPs, and people seemed really interested, and hopefully they will go and talk to their MPs and raise those issues with them.
On a personal level, have you ever considered becoming an MP yourself? Has this sparked an interest in you?
I don't think I'd want to be an MP, partly because I'm not a political person. I'm much more interested in the workings of democracy and how to make sure that people know how to get involved there. I think being an MP is a really hard job. I think you have to listen to a lot of people, you have to make a lot of judgment calls, and you have to work extremely hard, many hours in the day, and I'm not ready for that yet.